The moment you've all been waiting for, we preview Ian Happs 2026.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. We are your team every day. I'm Sam Olber alongside Matt Cozy. We are lifelong fans taking our passion into a discussion with you on all things Cubs. This episode of Locked On Cubs is brought to you by MLB The Show 26. Visit MLBThe.show/locked on and use code locked on to unlock a pack for use in Diamond Dynasty. Pre-order now, available March 17th on PlayStation 5, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch. Rated E for everyone. We've got a good show for you today. Would I ever tell you if we had a bad show? Best and worst coming up at the end. Some roster stuff with the roster czar. I'm going to give you that nickname, nice. Mr. Matthew Cozy. Birthday shout out to one of our loyal listeners, a belated birthday as he listens to this. Nolan, remember we met Nolan over at Almost Home.
Awesome.
Yeah, happy belated to him. And we start with everybody's guy, Ian Happ. I sarcastically say this because, I think a lot of people believe I don't like Ian Happ's game or whatever it is, which isn't the case. It's just he is what he is. And, when you have this long of a time with somebody, Matt, you just kind of accept them for what they are, which is a very nice baseball player that, sometimes leaves a lot to be desired, sometimes carries the team and anywhere in between before we get into details.
Well, I was thinking about a phrase you used the other day for Ben Brown, lightning rod. Yeah. And I think in some circles, Ian Happ may fill that bill. I don't think that applies for most of the fan base at all. I think sometimes I'll admit I get caught up in just like kind of our corner over here, but across the whole fan base, if you had to put a blanket on it, I think Ian Happ is a beloved player. I think that he's really established himself here. Shoot, he's the longest tenured athlete in Chicago sports. I don't believe it's close the last time I checked, especially after the Blackhawks made a few trades earlier this week. So, yeah, I think there's been a lot of ebb and flow with him, but across the totality of his career, he really is one of those guys that what you're going to get, that for better or worse, you could rely on.
You just don't know how you're going to get it.
Yeah, and I think at this point, I'm resigned to Ian Happ's fate, and if when he goes the 1 for 20, sure, the timing might not be convenient, but I know he's going to do it. And if he opens the season 10 for 20, I won't be surprised even a speck. So I do believe this is his last year, Sam. I think he's going to be a Red or a Pirate until he hangs them up for good, which makes sense to me. And there's other guys in this group too that are probably leaving, and I think for him especially, it's going to have kind of that last run feel. I think he's going to put it all out there, and hopefully they go far.
I had a friend of mine, also named Matt, describe how I think a lot of people feel about Ian Happ's season coming up to preview it. And it's totally unfair. It's totally meatball-y, but I'm just going to share it because internally, sometimes it's just how I feel. And he goes, if the Cubs disappoint this year, Ian Happ will have a great year. If the Cubs are a 90 plus, they're dominating, he'll be okay to below average or whatever he typically is. And it's like, sometimes that's how it feels with Ian Happ. It just does. And there's no evidence to support it. It's totally anecdotal, but sometimes that's just how it feels with him. Let me read you his numbers last year. They're really not anything like.
But we could look that up though if we wanted. Like when they lose, does he stink? And when they lose, is he good?
Yeah, but that you can't really look that up though, because it's like when they win, what if he hits a home run with the bases loaded off a position player when they're up 10? And so then he's good and wins. It's just kind of one of those feel things as a Cub. And it might not be true. It's part of how it goes. Because last year he was tremendous in August and September when they needed him most, he slashed last year what I would call pedestrian 243, 342, 420. He was extremely unlucky last year. His expected slug, all those things were hurt by Wrigley, even though people are saying that Wrigley was actually a good place to hit last year. Tell that to Ian Happ or Dansby Swanson. 23 home runs. Here's his OPS by month. 738 in April, 684 in May, 779 in June, 638 in July, and then he cranked it up 835 August, 894 September to really salvage a season. Playoffs was a measly 490, but in his defense, probably had the biggest single hit in the postseason for the Cubs. So, I don't remember exactly what we graded him. I think you gave him a B-. I gave him a C, C+. That sound right?
Yeah, it does. I mean, his career is that exact range.
Yeah, and it's like
he's never. I think 2021 he had a bad year, and that was it.
Yeah, I don't think because of his approach, I don't think he's really capable of having a bad year. Yeah. And I don't think he's really capable of having like a top 5 MVP year. Like it's just this is who he is, and I do think for me, when I judge him, I am impacted a little bit by the dollars. Not saying it's a bad contract, but could you find guys at 10 to 12 million or 10 to 15 million to give you what he gives you at 20 plus? I don't know. What I did in the 20 minutes doing my Ian Happ research before this was just feeling like I'm pretty unfair to him, and that my rationale of frustration with him, I don't really have any substance for. It just is something that just has a feel to it. I just can't explain it. Like with the game on the line and he comes up versus like Nico. I just feel better with Nico. I don't have a good explanation. I just don't. I've reached out to try and, combine pods with him and whatever. He's a busy guy. But if he came on here, one of the things I would be honest with for is being like, the criticism sometimes I have of him, I don't have any evidence for.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I'm curious to see how his last year is gonna play out.
I think he's gonna have a good year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's gonna crash or anything like that, like you just said.
No.
And he's played, 4 straight Gold Gloves. It's almost obnoxious at this point.
It is funny.
He has been one of the best left fielders in the sport the last 5 years.
The last thing I would add is that I'm really interested. So the Cubs obviously had a really good year last year, 92 wins. Let's say if they did win 94, 95 games and they won the division, I wonder if the narrative around Happ's season would change, even if he has the same year as he always does. Because to your point, you said earlier, kind of Ian has always kind of been like a B- sort of player. And let's be honest, outside of last year, the Cubs for a while had been a C+, B- type of team. And so I think his performance will sometimes get looped in as a symbol or an embodiment of what the team's doing. But if they turn into a 95-win team and he's hitting 4th through 6th and gives you 25 and 80 with a 770 OPS, maybe the narrative changes around him a little bit. Or maybe there is no narrative and it's just my weird thing of watching him for a long time. I don't know.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I'm trying to follow along. I think there is some truth to that. I remember him last year, and I get the whole feel better with Horner thing.
Yeah.
I did feel though like last year he was better in high leverage.
Yeah, he probably was. And him and Horner and Swanson were the 3 guys carrying the team at the end of the year when nobody else could hit for a while.
Yeah. And I rarely think about players' salary, but I do think it's fair to say that it's possible and or likely if he didn't have a no trade clause, he wouldn't be a Cub.
Yeah.
For me, it's less about the money than it is about, what? I don't know if he would be a Cub anymore.
You're 100% right. That's the best. You know what? That's the best way to put it. That's the best way to put it. He will be a Cub this year. We're going to talk about a couple other people who might not be coming up next.
Today's episode is brought to you by Indeed. Workplace chaos, deadlines stacking up, inbox overflowing, and the one position you have to still fill is sitting open. When the pressure's on, you need the right hire. This is a job for Sponsored Jobs. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for, skills, experience, locations. So you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Less stress, less time, more results when you need the right person to cut through the chaos. This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. And listeners to this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support this show by saying you heard about Indeed on our podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions do apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. College basketball is nonstop. Big games, tight spreads, momentum swings every single night. From early tip-offs to late-night West Coast shootouts, there's always action on the board. And now FanDuel is giving you a way to turn that energy into even bigger potential wins with a college basketball parlay profit boost. Folks, going to shift gears here, go to the National Football League. The Bears traded DJ Moore today to the Bills, saved some cash, got a second-round pick. It's a great deal. Was never a big DJ Moore guy. I think the Bears got better. You can go on FanDuel, find out what's Max Crosby's next team going to be. Could he be putting on the navy blue and rushing the passer? Because this Bears team now needs center help. They need defensive line help. I bet you they open on FanDuel probably with the third best odds to win the NFC North right now because they are losing guys, but how will they replace them? Go safe, go bold, ride with the team you've been following all season. It's your parlay, your style, now with more upside behind it. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com. FanDuel, play your game. We are back here on Locked On Cubs, and baseball's back, and you can lock in by joining the Everydayer Club, which gets you ad-free episodes. For the next week or so, you can use code SPRING for a free month. Go to lockedoncubs.supercast.com or tap the link in the show notes. Matt called you the roster czar earlier today. I'm going to pull up the sheet that you so kindly made if we're watching on YouTube of the Cubs' current roster projection, and I'm going to lean towards infield, outfield, DH. You and just the wonderful Matt Politis. We're talking about this earlier in the week. I listened to the whole show. You told me before it was going to be a nice surprise. What an excellent. I'm starting. These guests.
I forgot. I want to make up for it now. I forgot to go over the inside part, which is you've threatened for him to replace you on the show,
and I think he will. I want to say this publicly. Pan back to us. I do think this might turn into a Matt and Matt Locked On Cubs.
Well, how would that? Why? Where are you going?
I just think Politis is just something spectacular. Man, does he not age? All right. Let's get into the roster. I want to just focus real quick on the outfield position because the infield spots. Without injuries, we feel pretty locked in with the Bregmans of the world, the Swansons, the Horners, the Bush, the Shaw. The question that I have for you on this outfield here is you have Happ, PCA, Seiya, Ballesteros, Conforto, Carlson. Number one, who plays first base behind Michael Bush against left-handed pitchers? does that leave room? To me, when I saw this and you guys were talking about this, I thought that there was only going to be room for one of Conforto or Carlson. What say you?
So right now, I don't think Michael Busch is going to sit at all. If they play someone against a lefty once in a while, I think it's going to be Amaya. At first, I think he's going to play maybe the first 6 or 7 innings, and then Busch is going to close. So that's number one. Number two, I think one of the top stories from the week that, I'm not listening to the other shows anymore, but if I was, my guess is they haven't talked about this. And that is that Matt Shaw played center field the other day. And so I think that prospect of him playing center field changes this graphic now. So I'll have to update it this weekend. And it's kind of like I have fun with it in that Joe Lunardi bracketology way. Yeah. I think Conforto is a lock still.
A lock.
But if Matt Shaw could play center field, then Dylan Carlson doesn't need to make the team. Or Chas McCormick doesn't need to make the team. I don't think Kevin Alcantara is really in the mix at all. So then you start looking at different infield options. Ben Cowles, they pick up like every other day from waivers after dropping him themselves. They must like him. James Triantos is having a pretty good spring. Pedro Ramirez, who was added to the 40-man this past offseason to be protected from the Rule 5, I think is a candidate now. He entered today's action 5 for 14 with 3 walks. He's played both second and third. So I do think the calculus positionally has changed a little bit since we last put up this graphic with MP, because Shaw being able to play center could change who gets that 26 spot. Carlson, Sam, is having an excellent spring, but now I think an infielder like Ramirez or someone else does have an outside chance. I do.
Why is Conforto a lock over Carlson?
Because of the volume of production and good seasons that he's put up throughout his career. The fact that he's not only an established player, but he's had a monster year like 2019. He's had other productive years with the Mets and Giants.
2019, we didn't have a program.
I think what?
2019, we didn't even have a show yet. That's a long time.
I know.
Ago.
We were. Either did I.
So Michael Conforto. So you're saying you like Conforto because what is
they think they can catch magic in a bottle with Conforto, where Carlson's pure bench.
And with Conforto, it's insurance on Ballesteros as a DH versus righties.
Totally. Conforto could easily start as DH. Carlson's not a candidate for that.
But I'll say this right now.
Okay, go ahead. It's a talk program.
In the beginning of this year, the first 30, 40 games, every time there's a righty on the mound, Moises Ballesteros should be DHing.
I want a good number. Yeah,
I want a full runway for this young man.
Right.
I think he's got a chance. I think he's got very, very special bat-to-ball skills. I know that his speed doesn't match those bat-to-ball skills, but I also think there's some opposite field power there, and I think there's a really, really good hitter in there, and I don't want him losing at bats to Michael Conforto early in the season.
No, that would be frustrating. I think Ballesteros has to have a long leash, and Craig Counsell has shown signs, maybe not right when he got here, but certainly over the last year, where I think it is trending that way. I think he's going to get runway.
I don't want to spoil our bold predictions.
Start doing Pedro Ramirez research.
I don't want to spoil our bold predictions segment, but let's just say this: by July 4th, I wouldn't be surprised if he was hitting in the middle of the order. Moises Ballesteros. Last thing I want to say on this.
And the bullpen battle is heating up a little bit too, but
yeah, I'll let you cover that.
Okay.
Any residual, I'll use that word, any residual disappointment now? Kevin Alcantara looks like he probably is not going to make the team. And you look at now that 2021 deadline, and you hit a home run with Pete. Right. I mean, you just hit one absolutely out of the park. But the Bryant trade, literally no major league production at this point. Canario is on a different ball club. It didn't work out with Killian. The Rizzo trade, Alcantara, and forgive me, I forget who else was in it. Kimbrel, obviously, that didn't go well. I mean, you literally went A+ with Pete, but you kind of went 0 with anyone else. We're moved on from that, right?
Yes, because I could throw you one back, like Chafin to the A's for Palencia.
Yeah,
that was a home run.
Home run, and
I think Pete
getting Casey and turning him into Cabrera.
Yeah. If you go back that far to December of 20, which when we did have a show that 50 people were listening to.
Yeah, 75.
I remember going on for an emergency episode after that deal.
Yeah, we were screaming on the phone. It was a random weeknight.
And wow, good memory. And so no, I think Pete makes up for all that stuff. At one time, Alcantara and Casey were like they were always talked about together. We're going to see this year, how distant that is. Casey's going to be playing. First of all, Casey's going to show out for Canada, I think, starting this weekend.
Yeah.
I think Canada's going to win their pool. If not, they're going to at least make the quarterfinals.
And by the way, I apologize,
and
folks.
he's going to play every day for the Marlins. Meanwhile, Alcantara's in Des Moines.
I apologize. The United States plays Brazil on Friday, and I said Great Britain. I don't know why I said that.
You're excited for Scooble's start. That's why.
Well, because, you said something about it, and then I just copied you. But you probably said it right, and I didn't. So
yeah, well, Scooble is starting against Great Britain, which in my mind, I feel like is their first game. But no, they play Brazil on Friday.
And who's
with Logan Webb?
Oh, Logan Webb starting. Oh,
yeah. Paul Skeens is starting Game 3 against Mexico.
Who?
Yeah,
Paul Skeens.
Yeah.
We'll face him 9 times this year. So,
Sam, Ethan Roberts, who we met at the Sosa event in September of 24, he may be on my next graphic. He's having a nice spring.
When's the last time Hollowell's pitched?
Yeah, I think it was Friday.
So maybe
almost a full week.
So maybe he'll come in at the end of this game.
This contest,
today. Yeah. All right. Speaking of spring training notes and some best and worst, we get to that coming up next.
Thrilled to again be talking about our sponsor, MLB The Show 26. The greatest game in baseball is back with its newest installment. Baseball fans are going to have a hard time pulling themselves away from this game. What an experience you could have playing MLB The Show. A lot of in-game players featured from all the teams, a lot of different features and modes, including franchise mode that you need to log in and play as the Cubs. It really enhances your experience as a diehard fan. Plus, you can live out your own dreams of being a player in MLB The Show's career mode. If you're a gamer, a baseball fan, or just want to enjoy America's favorite pastime in a new, exciting way, you're going to love MLB The Show 26. Play as your favorite team and franchise players and see if you have what it takes to win your own World Series. Visit MLB.show/lockedon and use code LOCKEDON to unlock a pack for use in Diamond Dynasty. Internet connection is required. Pre-order MLB The Show 26 right now. It's available March 17th on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and Nintendo Switch. Rated E for everyone. To check out MLB The Show 26.
Welcome back to Locked On Cubs, the number one podcast for your Chicago Cubs. And some spring training notes today. Cubbies dominating the Arizona Diamondbacks 7-1. Dansby Swanson, another home run. He's been on fire. I think this is back-to-back home runs in spring, and then I think he hit one in the exhibition when they played Italy. So I think he has 3 on the campaign so far. Double for your boy Michael Conforto, a couple hits for him, home run for Carson Kelly. Colin Ray started this game, went 3 2/3, struck out 6. I'd like to share how I feel about Colin Ray right now.
Let's do it, man.
Have you ever, you might not have this, but like let's say we go to an event, you and I, right? And we're talking to people for a couple hours. We have a long commute. Maybe we're going to the Cub game. We don't know when we're going to eat. And you know me, I kind of get a little cranky, if I go a couple hours without food. And so you just kind of bring like an emergency Cliff Bar or, a pack of,
Where's this going?
mixed almonds, mixed nuts. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Well, yeah, they wouldn't be mixed if they were all almonds. Go ahead.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. You bring in a snack, like an emergency snack. That's what Colin Ray is to this team.
He's like an emergency snack.
He's like Cliff Bar. Oh, you know what? I'm not feeling great. I feel like I need to eat something. Boom. Oh, don't worry. I brought a Cliff Bar. Bang. Don't worry. I brought a sandwich. That's what Colin Ray is. He's a safety net. He's an emergency net for this team.
Bag of red grapes, if you will.
Yeah, he just. Oh, you know what? Oh, thank goodness. And the key part of it is psychological. You just know you have it in your backpack. You just know you have it when you're ready. Just knowing that Colin Ray is there if something happens to any of these guys. He was really good last year. I mean, we did a couple of those Friday audio onlys where he was beating the Phillies. He was he was beating the early 70s Athletics. He was beating the 20s Yankees. You get 20s, 30s, 40s Yankees, or however many championships they've won.
The 90s Yankees.
Got into a heated debate with a friend a few days ago about the Mount Rushmore of Yankees, and he told me that Derek Jeter had to be on, and I just said, well, who'd you like to put him ahead of Ruth, Gehrig, Mantle, and DiMaggio? Anyway, that's totally beside the point, Matt. But just talk about Colin.
Problem to have for them.
Yeah, talk about Colin Ray, and I just think he's one of the unsung guys on this team.
Well, yeah, I'm really curious to see how, if the people that we think are going to open the year in the rotation, I'm really intrigued to see how Craig Counsell uses Colin Ray, because there's really no reason why he should be used as a cleanup guy up ahead, up a lot or down a lot. I could be convinced of that, but I just feel like he brings more value. Granted, again, to your point, he's there if it's a more trying time or if you need to insert him into the rotation for whatever reason. But I think he's going to contribute to this team in a meaningful way. He was a big part of it last year. I really hope for him in his career that the same thing could happen. And, he's the reason why Javier Assad and Ben Brown are, as of right now, opening the season as the 1-2 in the rotation at AAA. Think about that. That they would open the year as the 1-2 down there, and then they would bring in more of a short relief guy for that last spot. So yeah, curious to see how they're going to use them, but yeah, what a nice person to have.
Best and worst of the week. I just have a quick worst that's just okay. I just find it very funny. Obviously, the NBA is a massive tanking problem, which luckily I don't think baseball has to deal with. The tanking teams, the bottom teams in the NBA right now have combined lost 44 games in a row. If you combine all the losing streaks of the bottom, I think it's the bottom 10. None of them are coming off a win. It's combined 44 straight losses. So.
And meanwhile, the Bulls in February didn't win a ball game.
They didn't win a baseball game. The Cubs and Bulls tied for wins in February of games that count. And the Cubs didn't play any.
Wow.
Yeah,
mine are both WBC related. Actually, we loosely mentioned my worst already. Why didn't the stats count for that game against Italy the other day?
Yeah, anytime
count the stats. Okay, these are all exhibitions. It's all practice. It's okay. You can count them.
They just recycle every exhibition.
That's stupid.
It is. It really is. I noticed that last year when the Cubs were in Japan playing those exhibitions against the Japanese teams, and then the next game it recycled.
Yeah, someone was 1 for 1 for the Cubs batting 1,000. Stop.
Yeah, Cubs did not have a good showing on those two games last year.
No, maybe Italy's a dark horse.
Yeah.
I am really excited for the first 3 games of the WBC for the U.S. Webb, Skubal, Skeens. Wonder who will start Game 4. It's looking right now that Matthew Boyd is going to be like a piggyback guy for Webb or Skeens, and hopefully he pitches well.
Yeah, I hope Pete starts.
It looks like it's going to be Roman Anthony in left, Buxton in center, Judge in right. Sam?
Yeah, why? I just he's such a first of all, he's a better defender than Buxton and Anthony. I think Pete should start, man. I'm a little bit frustrated, with where he's at right now in terms of the league, because I mean, man, when that All-Star game was happening, when he was literally on top of the world. Oh, that's not true. Literally, I mean,
He wasn't, right?
Yeah,
He was figuratively.
Yeah, figuratively. Poor statement. And now it's like, oh, he's a top 20, top 30, top 40 guy. And I really hope he gets off to a good start so we can get back to that. Because I just think he should be the starting center fielder for Team USA. I think he should.
I mean, I hope he starts one of the first 4 games in pool play. If he doesn't, that would be weird.
How many homers do you think Judge is hitting in this tournament? Like 6?
It's a good number.
Yeah, he's really good at baseball. So
what if he hits like 10?
Yeah, you never know. Thank you for making Locked On Cubs your first listen of the day. For those of you on video, we send you the 24/7 National Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel on audio. Make sure your second listen is Locked On MLB. It's go time, guys. Baseball's here. Join us. It's time. We're right there. A couple of weeks away. Go Cubby.